Hi, and welcome to Youth Vibrations. I'm your host, Devin Bailey, and it's my co-host, Charles Robinson. I want to thank you for joining us on Youth Vibrations today. Youth Vibrations is made possible by KSO Productions. KSO Productions is a non-profit organization doing positive things in the community for today's youth. TV, production, and DJ services, along with mentoring programs and other programs. Today on our show, we'll be talking about drugs and violence in our communities. To start off, I think that drugs and violence, they are very negative and should be stopped. And I think that the two tie into each other because people that do drugs, they mainly carry around a negative, violent attitude. So that they tie into each other. I think that drugs, that people need to come together. One community needs to come together and, crack down on certain drug dealers. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody has to be Superman, but, I mean, people can go to their local police stations, and just try to get information on how to crack down on drugs and violence. Charles, what you think about drugs and violence in our communities? What's some of your opinions on this specific topic?
What I think about drug and violence is, like, drugs and violence, that's like two different things. Violence is like when you carry a weapon without having license and registrations for it. And drugs is something illegal that you bring it to the United States. So, like, I have a dude at school, he bring a gun and drugs to school. So, if you bring a gun and drugs to school, I don't hang around that person. I just do the opposite.
Okay, thank you. For all the parents out there, I just want to tell them, give your kids advice on how to stay away from drugs and violence. Violence as a sort, to tell your kids to not to get in any altercations, but to try to diffuse the situation before it escalates into a violent, a violent altercation. Drugs, just tell your kids that there's better things out there to induce your mind, like sports, and just try to keep you. I know my mom, she keeps me in extracurricular activities, so I won't have time to get tied up in drugs and stuff. So just try to tell your kids that drugs are bad. I mean, I don't want to preach to any parents out there, but tell your kids that drugs are bad and tell them the reasons why to stay away from. Don't just tell them stay away from drugs, because you have to give them a reason to your madness, Tell them that you have to stay away from drugs because drugs do such and such to your body, It might feel good at the time, but they leave long-term effects on one's body. We went out on the street and got some info and opinions from normal everyday people. I don't want to just give my opinion and try to shadow everybody with my opinion. I want to go around on the street and talk to other people. So let's do that right now. We're gonna go to some young kids, and we also have older people. I know it's called Youth Vibrations, but we try to get an all-around view of what everybody thinks. So right now we're going to go out on the street and see what some young people feel about drugs and violence in their communities. All right, could y'all tell me your name?
My name Monique Logan. I attend Woodrow Wilson Senior High School, home of the Tigers.
Huh? All right. What y'all feel about drugs in y'all community?
I mean, people don't need drugs. It's better things to do than drugs.
What you feel about people who deal drugs and stuff?
I mean,
I can't hate on them.
They can be your friends.
Money.
They can be your friends, but to
My
a certain
friends too.
extent.
Do you have any plans to stop the drug flow? Like when you get older, or anything you plan to do now to stop the drug flow?
No, because that's what the police for. The police just did a big drug bust in Northwest. So it ain't nothing we can do.
All right. Thank y'all for y'all time.
My name is Reverend Franklin G. Pryor, and associate pastor at First Baptist Church, 712 Randolph Street, at New Hampshire Avenue.
Okay.
Under the pastorship of Reverend Franklin Tucker.
Okay.
So how do you feel about drugs and violence in the community?
Well, drugs
Hello?
and violence in the community is nothing that has just started. We have to go back and look at the history of our folks. Back in the old days, instead of carrying pistols, shotguns, they used to carry knives and razors. And people have always, the human person has always alluded to things that really ruin the body. Things such as whiskey, alcohol, narcotics. This is nothing new.
So do you think that the police should, do you think that the man should increase the police officers on the street?
Increasing the police is not going to stop the human person from using the law of these elements. If the country is truly sincere about controlling the young folks, older folks, from using things, they're going to have to change our international laws where they produce all of this stuff. That's where the problem lies, the problem. But once it's been manufactured and then distributed, you can't change it. You can't change it. You have to start. You have to, it's an old axiom that we older folks used to say. In order, you have to cut the tree down from its roots. Yeah. Otherwise, the tree will keep growing back. You got to stop producing the cotton.
Okay.
That's
Thank
a
you.
simple answer to it.
Thank you for your time.
I just want to see that two young men like you guys that is interested in it to come and try to do a productive thing out of it.
Check us out on ECU 28, channel 5 or 6.
Okay.
Could you state your name for me one time?
Reverend Franklin G. Pryor.
Thank you, sir.
All right. God bless you.
God bless you. Hi, and welcome back. That was just some brief opinions from people out on the street. If you just joined us, my name is Devin Bailey, and my co-host, Charles Robinson here, and we want to welcome you guys to Youth Vibrations. I know we talked a lot about violence and drugs in our community, but I want to also talk about police. You know, I know everybody thinks that it's the police job to crack down on drugs and violence. Myself, I don't think that the police are putting their full effort into, you know, cracking down on drugs and violence, because if they were putting their full effort into it, then, you know, it would be less drugs circulating, less violence occurring, and I think that the police should, you know, should crack down a little bit harder. What you think about the police, Charles? You think they cracking down enough on the police?
I think they are not, because every day it's like 10% of the people are dealing drugs and 10% are dealing drugs and doing hairdos out the same house. So, to me, like, if you come around my way, all you see is mainly trash. People scared to come outside now. It's mainly just drug dealers out there hanging around doing their business. And when the police come around, they just run, giving the police something to do.
Yeah. So what you think about those brief opinions from those people out on the street? I think the kids, they really didn't have, you know, a well-rounded, I don't want to say their opinion was good, but they haven't been on this earth long enough. I can say, in my own opinion, they haven't been on this earth long enough to have a well-rounded opinion about, you know, certain topics. But the older reverend, you know, he had a lot of input to put on, you know, to say about the topic. What do you think about what the kids said?
I mean, the kids, like they said, they just did a drug raid up Northwest a couple of days ago. I mean, there's nothing really to say, but like, wait till they get the older people age and they see how the younger people pick on them like they do with older people. Mm-hmm. Like, in other words, whatever you do, it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the Reverend that I was talking to earlier, he had a lot of good views. He said that that the police, not necessarily us, he said that the police need to, you know, cut the tree where the roots are. You know, that's a good analogy to put to drugs in our community, because we can't just, you know, go to every corner, because that's just, you know what I'm saying, that's getting the little people. We need to go down to the big drug lords, you know, that's shipping it over, because it's not growing in America, you know, it's growing in different countries, wherever drugs, you know. So he had a good point when he was saying, you know, we need to cut the legs, you know, stop the transaction from country to country. That's where the main, you know, that's where the main drug flow comes from. Right now, I want to go back on the street and get some more comments from, you know, younger people, older people, you know, the whole division of people out there. Right now, we're going to go back to the street. Hi, my name is Devin Bailey. We're out on the street here at the YMCA building, and I was just about to ask this young lady here a couple questions. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Ask your name.
My name is Jay Quest. I'm from Kicking It with Jay Quest.
Okay. I'm doing a segment on drugs and violence in our community. What do you feel about drugs and violence in the community?
Boy, don't let me start. Y'all got enough tape for this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I feel about it? Well, I feel, as from a parent's point of view, having a son, I feel that it's really it's an additive to destruction, violence, and it's like another additive or another situation where youths are being genocide on, and how can I say it, that I'm stuck.
No problem, no problem.
Go back.
No, go ahead.
Nah, I'm stuck for a minute.
This
How do I
is a
feel
street
about
team.
it? I feel,
Unpredictable.
you know what? I got a lot of feelings on it. I got a lot of mixed feelings on it.
So you-
One thing for sure, from what I've seen and what I witnessed in my life coming up about the drug war and the violence and stuff, I lost family members to it. I've seen a lot of bloodshed. I've seen a lot of unnecessary call for our young youth on the street selling drugs and saying this is a way for us to make a living and all these things. But I know it comes with a lot of oppression and depression that's in our society. You know, and it's a lot of things that's not getting done. There's a lot of things that's not being answered, and it's a lot of just, you know, uproar. You know, it's with our economy, the things that's happening today, you know, with the warring that's going on, the diseases, all the things that mankind and society put together to not save, but further like demolish, you know, further like keep things on an uproar, keep it in a catastrophe uproar, you know. And is there something else you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. If you had the ability, I don't want to say if you had the ability, but if you could, I would say, how would you plan on stopping the transfer of drugs into your community? How would you go about stopping?
Well, me myself, as one human being who is against all of that, I know just me by myself, you know, I couldn't do a whole lot. I can make a lot of, I can send a lot of messages, or I can give a lot of advice. But we have done that in the past. You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of that's been going on, and some people going to hear, and some people not going to hear. But the main thing that I know will stop this all is when the people start getting right and start turning their faces to the one and only creator, which is God. You see what I'm saying? And that's where you make your start at. And we ain't gonna know nothing, and we ain't gonna know where we going, we ain't gonna know where we going to until we get back to the creator. And that's the main problem. You see what I'm saying? This is like all man trying to push and do what he wanna do on his own. And when you try to work on your own and try to do things on your own, and it's a lot of, well, let me tell you like this, it's a lot of, how can I say it? It's a lot of things that's under the cover that shouldn't be under the cover, and it's a lot of things that's out there that shouldn't be out there. So that's the same thing. That's the way I look at it with the drugs and the violence. The drugs and the violence are out here for a purpose and for a reason. We know it destroys, it tears down, it kills our kids, it destroys the parents' life and all of that stuff. everybody that's in tune with it, in contact with it, it destroys and tears down all of it. But what is the purpose of it out here for? Nobody really asks that question. You know, it's not.
A quick way to make it.
Right, exactly. You see what I'm saying? And me as a single parent, the best thing I can do, like I say, I can be a good advisor, I can put it out there, but me as a single parent to my child, what I can do, I can start with him. So he won't be that next breed or that next generation that go out there and get caught up in that type of life. You see what I'm saying? To show him what that kind of life does to you and what it doesn't do for you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I can do. That's what I think people that got children coming up in this generation should do. They should start with their generation, start with themselves. You see what I'm saying? And teach them how to get back to their creator, because that's where it starts. That's what I think.
And do you feel, one more last quick question.
Oh, cool.
Do you feel that the police are doing a good enough job trying to keep the drugs and violence down?
Well, I believe the police do their job to whatever degree that is, that they do it. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, you know, with the laws and the courts, and don't get me started going on, but they know what their job is what their job curtails, and they know what their job is, what they supposed to be doing for the people. But they, you know, everybody don't do their job the way they're supposed to be. My grandmother told me it was a time when the police was a police, when the doctor was a doctor, when a lawyer was a lawyer, when everybody that had an occupation that was out here really for the people to benefit, to really help people get their needs and the things that they need, health-wise, whatever, mental-wise, whatever, they was out here doing their job. But now it's a whole different story. It's a whole new marching band tune. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, we're going to see a lot more of confusion, a lot more of destruction. And it's not only with the drugs and the violence. Like I said, it's just with people themselves. You see what I'm saying? We got people that's mass murderers, rapists. We got all that out here. It's just not drugs and violence and guns. We got violence going on within the wars that we submit to. You see what I'm saying? Wars that's not even ours. You know, so that's my feel on that.
I want to thank you again for sharing your
Alright.
opinion and comments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Jay
joining
Quest.
us out here on the street. Thank you, Jay Quest, for helping me to share your opinion with the viewers. This is Devin Bailey out on the street at the YMCA. This is Youth Vibrations. Thank you. And we were just there at the YMCA in Washington, D.C. If you have any problems with drugs, abuse, or violence, the YMCA would be a good place to go. Or you could just call our youth prevention hotline. The youth prevention hotline is a good way to, you know, talk to a mentor, someone to help you with your problems. If you have a violent relationship with any parents or boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, the youth prevention hotline would be a good place to go to reach advice and, you know, and just seek help. I want to talk about the youth prevention hotline a little bit more. It's basically some place for not only youth, just everybody. You know, we're trying to reach out and help everybody there. It's basically run by KSO Productions, and you know about KSO. He's a well-rounded individual that tries to help anyone that he can. All right, going on to drugs and violence. Drugs and violence. If I could stop drugs and violence in my community, I would try to, you know, if I saw someone that was tied up in drugs, you know, I would go to them and try to help them in a way to where it's not condescending, you know, saying that they're low because they take drugs. I wouldn't go to them in a condescending manner. I would go to them in a manner saying, you know, drugs are not good. You know, I know everybody knows that. Drugs are not good. People need to stay away from drugs. And what kind of elevation in your life would you achieve if you were on drugs, you know? Charles, what kind of advice would you give to people that you know are on drugs, but you were trying to help get off of drugs?
The advice I give to them is to try to stay healthy the best way you can. Stop trying to use drugs and go to a shelter home until you get on your feet, and try to look for a job.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if you gotta collect trash cans.
So you just say, do anything you can to stay away from drugs.
Yeah.
I think that if you have, you know, if you have a drug addiction and you're trying to kick that drug addiction, whenever you think about, you know, going out and scoring some you know, crack or heroin or anything, just think of something else to do. Like go out, you know, go out every time you have a urge to go do some crack, you know. But one way to overcome that is, you know, one of my teachers told me, if you have a habit, whenever you have the habit, you know, go move some furniture. It might sound crazy, but it does work, you know. For one, moving furniture, you can, you know, get in a little bit of shape. For two, you can keep your mind off of doing drugs. And it can work for anything, really. Like if you're trying to lose weight, anytime you think about going to eat, you know, go move some furniture. Or try to do something else to keep your mind off of the urges that you have. If you just joined us, we're here, Youth Vibrations, the show where, you know, we don't have no cut cards. We keep it real here, Youth Vibrations. We try to talk about the things that are happening in the community around us. We know that the community around us is slowly, you know, dissolving as a whole. So the actual point of Youth Vibrations is to stop that. It's to get the youth today, which are the future for tomorrow, like myself, to get us, you know, well-rounded individuals that can lead America into greatness for the future. Our show topic for today is drugs and violence in our community. And right now, I want to take a brief break with a special music break. And right now we're going to go to break. Stay with us after this message.
Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as a listening sky. Let us resound loud as a rolling seas. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on to victory.
Thank you, and welcome back to Youth Vibrations. If you're just joining us once again, my name is Devin Bailey, and my co-host here, Charles Roberts. And today, our discussion is drugs and violence in the communities all around the district. Well, not necessarily district, all around communities. If you're trying to reach us, we have an email address. You know, you can either say your opinion about today's topic. You can react to my opinion or anybody else's opinion on the show, or just give comments. Continuing on with the discussion here at Youth Vibrations, I want to go back on the street to the YMCA building where I talked to a group of not so much young people. I talked to a little kid, his mother, and a whole range of ages. And I just want to show what different opinions that each age range has. So at this time, I want to go back to the street to the YMCA building. Hi, it's Devin Bailey here, the host of Youth Vibrations. I'm here with this young lady here. I'm going to ask her a few quick questions about drugs and violence in the community. Hi, how you doing, Sophie?
Hi, how you doing?
Fine. May I ask you your name?
I'm Jackie Reardon.
Jackie?
Yes.
What do you feel about drugs and violence in your community?
Well, I think the drugs and the violence in the community are consistent with the degradation of civilization, okay, that we find in present day. And it has to do with society turning away from a God consciousness and our material life taking hold of us. And so whatever consciousness or integrity that we once had has given way to materialism, self-gratification, a society that promotes a me attitude and also a quick fix. You see it in the media, you see it in the advertisements around, and it's sending a message to our youth and everybody else that get yours, get it now, any way you can, cheat, and to hell with everything else, okay? And to hell with the Creator who has made everything possible for us. So when you put those kind of messages out there, you have people getting a quick fix any way they can. That sell drugs, regardless of the consequences, regardless of the risks that we take. We'll live fast, we'll get money fast, and we'll die fast. So I think we're in an interesting time, though. You see an escalation in the crime and the violence, but at the same time, the truth is steadily rising. So you've heard the saying that you can't keep the truth down.
Yeah.
I think we're beginning to see our balancing act, not all at once, but I think the drugs, and the violence is all a symptom of the climate we find ourselves in. But we're seeing a shift, and truth is rising now. I mean, take your show, for instance. You all are doing positive things. Often we hear that the youth are, they're not doing anything positive. They're the youth of today, they're into this gangster rap, and what is that about? And I mean, you all are just keeping it real. And you're looking out and seeing the world that we live in, and you're basically just reporting to us, this is the state of affairs we find ourselves in. So you all are doing positive things, and you're part of that change that's coming.
Do you have are you a parent?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I have nieces and nephews, so I mean, I think though, as a woman, whether you're physically giving birth or not, you're still a mother to the children around you. We have to take responsibility for our youth. I can't sit around and say, oh, this is not happening with the youth. Look at these negative things that they're doing. I have to start with myself. What kind of example am I putting forth for the youth? So any youth that I come in contact with, I have responsibility as a woman to be a mother.
Do you feel that the police are doing a good enough job trying to keep the drugs and violence down in your community?
No. I think there are some police officers that are very committed to the to stamping out the drugs and violence wherever they find it, and they're really committed to doing their jobs because they just happen to be individuals with integrity. But I think, unfortunately, and this is in any profession, you have people who are corrupt and who aren't really serious about changing the situation for the good. And you know, it's unfortunate, but I think also the police force doesn't. I'm just going to say this. I think on some level they're a little bit naive in the sense that I don't think they grasp that the problem is much bigger than just, you know, simply fighting the drug dealers on the street. They're the little men. The question is, how are the drugs getting here? These small-time pushers in the neighborhoods, I don't know any of them personally, but I doubt very seriously if they have big luxury liners or airplanes that are bringing the drugs into the country. Question remains, you know, how are they getting here? So it's much bigger than that. And I think, in answer to your question again, the problem is much bigger than what we see on the street. And until we, the public, see them addressing the people who are actually funding this big business, because drugs is a big business, then we won't see any real changes, significant changes in the drug traffic and the violence associated with it.
You being, you know, a mentor, could I say a mentor? You being a mentor, how would you go about changing your community, stopping the drug flow? Not necessarily that you can, you know, Superwoman can't do it all by yourself, but from a person's point of view, as a citizen of that particular community group, how would you go about stopping the drug flow in your community? I mean, it's not all your responsibility.
Well, you know the cliche that says, you know, if everybody sweeps in front of their own door, then the block is clean. So I have to start with myself and be the example to, you know, youth who come after me, who look up to me. And I have to live my life with integrity. I have to, you know, speak the truth when I have the opportunity to. And it's through, you know, through us, again, it's very important. It sounds, you know, like maybe I'm oversimplifying the solution, but it comes back to making that connection back to our Creator. And you have to live, you know, in a God-like way and send those positive messages out. Because, you know, the Creator's law is such that, you know, you put out something positive, it comes back. So
Twofold, threefold.
Yeah, and I don't mean back to me necessarily, because it's not about me. But if you share some truth with a youth, for instance, who might be doing something inappropriate, and you approach them you know, with love and not in a self-righteous kind of approach, then I think they'll hear you, you know, because the youth are really intelligent, you know. Each generation is intelligent. The older generation always, you know, has some complaints about the younger generation.
Generation X.
Right, but I meant the generation before me had complaints about, you know, my generation.
Right.
And it's just a cycle, and we basically repeat some of the same things. We just put a new spin on the same things. But if I put forth a positive example, then I think that's what I can contribute to solving the problem.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Jackie.
Thank you.
And it was very insightful talking to you. I'm talking to you also.
Nice talking to you too.
And I wish you the best with your program.
Thank you.
Yeah, ditto.
It's time to finish talking with Miss Jackie. Some very insightful information for you youth out there. This again is Devin
Take
Bailey.
heed and listen, you guys.
This
It's
again,
serious. It's not a game.
This again is Devin Bailey. Signing off on the street for Youth Vibrations at the YMCA. Hi, and welcome back to Youth Vibrations. Right now, I want to go to a quick break, and when we return, I will hit you up with my 10 Commandments of Success. Right now, I'm going to take you to a brief PSA.
Just lock it in. You know the formula, right? 1, 2, 1, 2.
Winners and losers. The winner is always part of the answer. The loser is always part of the problem. The winner always has a program. The loser always has an excuse. The winner says, let me do it. The loser says, that's not my job. The winner sees the tank half full. The loser sees the tank half empty. The winner sees an answer for every problem. The loser sees a problem in every answer. The winner sees a green near the sand trap. The loser sees 2 or 3 sand traps by every green. The winner says, it may be difficult, but possible. The loser says, it may be possible, but it's too difficult. The winner sees roses on a thorn bush. The loser sees thorns on a rose bush. The winner says, good morning, God. The loser says, good God, it's morning. Be a winner.
Hello, and welcome back to Youth Vibrations, the show where we keep it real, we don't have no cut cards, but we also talk about the positive and negative aspects of the community around us. Today, our discussion is on drugs and violence in our community, and if you're just joining us, my name is Devin Bailey, and this is my co-host, Charles Robertson, and we'll be talking to you today about drugs and violence. I have what I call the 10 Commandments of Success, and if you follow these, then you will always be successful in life, no matter what you strive to achieve, no matter what you have already achieved. These 10 Commandments of Success will help you overcome many obstacles and help you endure many hardships. These are the 10 Commandments of Success right here on Youth Vibrations. These 10 Commandments of Success, you should follow. You know, they will help you. They will help you, you know, in your life. What do you think about these 10 Commandments of Success? How you think people should go about handling these 10? I don't want to call them obligations because, you know, they're there to help you. They're not something that you're entitled to do.
So you might as well say 10. I think they should just take them one by one, and to let them get to understand the steps properly, and just do the right thing, and that's no drugs and no violence.
Yeah. Okay. That was my 10 Commandments of Success. I hope you read them. If you have any questions about those 10 commandments, you can contact us at our email address. And if you plan to go to our email address, you could enter in some comments that you have on this topic. You could comment about my opinion or someone else's opinion, or you could just lay down a little bit of love and show that you're liking what youth today are doing. Next, I want to go back to the YMCA, because at the YMCA they had a lot of good opinions that people out there should know that's going on. We have all types of ages in this next segment. Right. So now I want to go to the YMCA. How you doing today?
Fine.
What's your name?
Matthew.
You know what drugs are?
Yes.
What are drugs? Huh?
Bad things. Bad things.
Uh-huh. Does your mommy tell you not to do drugs?
Yes.
Why? Drugs are bad, right?
Yes.
Drugs are real. Do you know anybody that does drugs?
Huh?
Do you know anybody that does drugs?
Yes.
You do? What do you tell them? You tell them that they bad, right?
Yes.
How old are you?
5.
Where you go to school?
Parkview.
Where are you at right now? The YMCA, right?
Yes.
Do they tell you not to do drugs here?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your time, and say bye to the people out on the street. Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
What do you think about drugs and violence in your community?
Drugs and violence in my community? I don't know. Exactly. I mean, it's affecting the way how people are. Because it's just that drugs, when you take it, it normally have you to react towards violence.
Mm-hmm. If you could, how would you stop the transfer and flow of drugs in your community? If you could, I'm not saying you can't do it all by yourself, but if you could, how would you stop it?
I would get the help of my community behind me and pass out a petition. At least get the mayor, like the government, pass a law or something, for that to stop happening. But you always need a community to back you up.
Do you feel that the police are doing a good enough job keeping the drugs down?
I feel no, they're not. They're not doing a good enough job to keep the drugs down. It's like the more drugs come in, the less they just sit back and just let it happen.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your time and comments. And would you mind stating your name one more time?
Vanessa.
About drugs in your community.
I feel that it's not good and it's not safe for the kids to see drugs being used.
And you being a mother, what kind of advice would you give to your kids to not do drugs?
I sit down and tell my kids that drugs are bad for them, that they can mess up your mind, and that they need to get a good education, and if they're offered drugs, do not take them.
Okay. If you could, how would you stop the transfer and flow of drugs in your community?
Being a mother of 4, I would go out and I would, do a flyer explaining why drugs are bad for you, reason why not to do them, and other alternatives that you can turn to resolve problems and issues instead of turning to drugs.
Have drugs affected you in your life?
No. I've never used drugs, never been offered drugs.
What type of advice would you give a person your age? Like a person like me, or in your age group?
Normally I tell young people, if you put Christ first in your life, then everything else will fall in order.
Thank you. Thank you for your information and answer. May I ask you your name one more time?
Alicia Davis.
Thank you, Alicia Davis.
Thank you.
My name is Buddy Boone, and I'm 22 years old.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
I have no kids except for the kids at my job. I claim them as my own.
And you work here at the YMCA?
I sure do. YMCA.
How do you feel about drugs in your community?
I feel that drugs in my community, unless they're drugs, prescription drugs, and they should not be, because illegal drugs cause alternative lifestyles that are very harmful to the community and to the person itself.
How would you? What kind of advice would you give a person my age, your age, or around the same age group? What kind of advice would you give them to stay away from drugs or be aware of drugs?
Well, I have a slogan, and that slogan is, say no to drugs and yes to juice. Because juice, what it does is it stimulates your body, and the vitamins and the minerals give good to your body, does your body good. So instead of doing drugs, any type of alcohol, juice and water would be good places, good things to put into your body besides drugs.
Okay. If you could, how would you stop the transfer and flow of drugs in your community?
Well, we would look for the perpetrators who would be putting drugs in the community, and then through that we would wean those people out of the community, because those type of people are people that we don't need. And instead of throwing them away out of society, out of our neighborhood, then what I would do is I would take them and rehabilitate them and show them how to sell, other types of merchandise that's good for the community, as opposed to drugs which harm the community.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Mr. Buddy.
No more questions?
No.
I have a lot of stuff I could talk about.
Anything you would like to express to the people?
Remember my slogan, say no to drugs and yes to juice.
Thank you, Mr. Buddy, for your time.
All right.
What's your name and age?
Joseph Snyder, 17.
You're 17? So you're in high school?
Yes.
Have you been offered drugs?
No.
You haven't? What? I know you're around, my age group, because I'm 16. You're older than me. How would you tell people, what kind of advice would you give people your age?
Well, first, most young people, they look to drugs to get away from problems they have in their home and stuff like that. So they look to drugs to get away from their problems. My advice is, instead of going to drugs, if your religion is not Christian, then go read a book, or go do something that you like to do instead of doing drugs.
Okay. Do you feel that the police are doing a good enough job keeping the drugs out of your community?
They're doing what they can, but no, they are not doing a great job.
How would you go about slowing down or stopping the transference of drugs in your community?
Well, I don't think we could ever stop drugs, because that's like saying you're going to stop murder or anything, but some things you can slow down, and maybe I'll make a tougher law or something to keep drugs from out of the community.
Oh, okay. What high school do you attend?
Spingarn.
Spingarn High School. Is there do you know anyone in your school that does drugs?
No.
No one?
There probably is, but I don't know anybody.
Okay, thank you for your question. Would you like to say hi to give any further remarks, or say hi to anybody you know at Spingarn?
Just say no to drugs and hi everybody at Spingarn.
Thank you for your time.
Won't pressure you to do things you know you shouldn't.
Using drugs won't help you escape your problems. It will only create new ones.
Refuse to ride with anyone who's been drinking or using other drugs.
Don't hang around with kids who think violence is cool.
And don't carry a weapon. It could be used against you.
Settle arguments with words, not weapons.
And be open to the important adults in your life. Talk openly with them about the hard problems you're facing.
Get involved in bettering yourself and your community.
And if you feel you just can't handle this alone, call the youth hotline at KSO Productions, BSUI. Phone number 397-3478.
Once again, welcome to Youth Vibrations. If you just joined us, you missed a lot today on the show. It's almost time for us to wrap up. But if you just joined us, you missed a lot of brief comments from young people, old people, and even little kids about drugs and violence. And even the little kid, he told us that his mom tells him not to do drugs and the reasons not to do drugs, you know. And I think that's very good that parents these days are teaching young kids at a young age not to do drugs. We've talked to kids, teenage kids, and all of them mainly had positive views on stopping drugs, why they should stop drugs, and how they had ideas about going about doing so. Like I said, we're about to wrap up the show. I'm gonna give it over to my co-host Charles to see if he has any closing remarks or further remarks about drugs and violence.
Really, I had nothing to say, but as long as y'all don't do drugs, stay in school, get a good education, do what y'all do, in your lifetime to come, you would just find out how life is and experience without using drugs.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. And thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for joining me here on Youth Vibrations. Once again, if you have any questions, you could call the Youth Prevention Hotline. And the Youth Prevention Hotline is run by KSO Productions. KSO is a mentor here in the community that helps young people to deal with their everyday problems. We know that young people have problems just like everybody else. And here on Youth Vibrations, we're the type of show that we keep it real. We help everybody. This show's mission is to prevent and keep kids aware of the things happening around them. Like I said, if you have any comments, you can hit the email address. You can lay down some love. You can send your comments. You can comment on one of my opinions or somebody else's opinion. I want to say thank you to all of the people out on the street who took their time who gave me their time to help me express the views that I'm trying to send across the airways to the people. We know that drugs and violence is a big problem in our community, and it's going to be hard to stop, but if everybody does their little work, then we could stop it. Charles, what do you think about that one comment? That one comment stuck out in my mind when the Miss Jackie, I think her name was, she said, if everybody sweeps in front of their porch, then the whole block will get clean. I think that's a good analogy to go with, everybody saying how they wanted to clean up. How do you think that analogy tied up into this whole discussion?
I mean, the analogy tied up into the discussion by when she say sweep off your porch. I mean, like if it's like clutter or something, or if you feel that drug dealers are putting stuff in your porch, just go out there, clean it up, let them know that you're sick and tired of it. Just you want them to stop doing it in front of your face or in front of your property or something.
Yeah. That was a good analogy, and everybody really gave up some good information to help youth today. And I want to especially thank everybody at the YMCA. I want to thank everybody that stopped along the street, and just look out for this show in the future. Like I said before, I'm your host, Devin Bailey. This is my co-host, Charles Roberts. And I want to say thank you for joining us here at Youth Vibrations. This has been a long show, and it has been a very insightful show. Join me next time, same place, here on Youth Vibrations. This is Devin Bailey signing off.